This is a quick video to show you how sellers can use Sellics to automate their Amazon sponsored products campaigns and their bid management. The way you can use Sellics to automate your PPC campaigns is by creating if-then rules. So those are rules that follow the following pattern. The if part consists of a condition and a time frame. So if a certain condition is met within a certain time frame, then a certain action is being triggered. To give you an example, for sponsored products, it could be that for an auto campaign, for instance, you want to set search terms without sales to negative. I think that this is a fairly common strategy. So if you want to translate the strategy into an if-then rules, essentially it would lead to if 0 sales, this would be the condition. After 25 clicks, that's the time frame. And the action would be to set the search term to negative. Right? So if there's a search term that has 0 sales after 25 clicks, then this search term should be moved to negative. And so Sellics, the software, would do this automatically for the sellers if they have decided to set up this rule. So that's the key idea behind the rules. Let me just jump here into the Sellics interface. So we are here in the PPC manager in the automate section where sellers can create and manage their rules. So basically they can create their own rules here, very individual rules, but they can also just use our best practices. And so the best practices that we have created, so we have created one rule set for manual campaigns and also a rule set for automatic campaigns, but the idea is the same for both. So I'm just going to show it for manual campaigns. So the idea is very simple. Most sellers are aiming for a specific target ACoS. So they have a certain ACoS in mind that they want to hit, and they are optimizing for this specific target ACoS. And the way we suggest to use the rules in order to achieve this target ACoS is the following. So we have 3 rules. The first one is to increase the bid if the ACoS is below your target ACoS. So the rule would be if the ACoS is below a target, right? So below the target ACoS minus 2.5%, so you can add whatever number you want here to create a certain, a certain buffer. After at least one order, then you want to increase your keyword bid by 30%. So this would be the first rule. The second rule is to lower the bid if the ACoS is above the target ACoS. So if the ACoS is above target plus a certain margin, after at least 1x clicks, and I'll get to what this 1x stands for in a second, then you want to decrease the bid by 30%. And so basically what Sellics does every day after we receive the new data from the Amazon advertising API, we just check all keywords and all search terms if there are keywords matching the criteria. So if there are keywords that matches the condition and also the time frame, and if we find such keywords or such search terms, then we will perform the action that the user has defined here. So we will either increase the bid or we will decrease the keyword bid. Now the target ACoS is actually a number that sellers can upload here to Sellics. So sellers can use an upload sheet here to upload in bulk a target ACoS for their campaigns. So it can be an individual target ACoS for each campaign. So it could be the one campaign has a target of 5% while another one has a 30% target. So the advantage is that based on these rules, we will manage those campaigns following the individual ACoS that users have uploaded to their campaign. So the target ACoS is actually a number that users upload. Obviously, they can also enter a custom ACoS value, right? So they could enter like 10% or 20%, or they can just use the target ACoS. And the other question is what this 1x stands for here, right? Because this is obviously the measure for time. So basically what the X here stands for is the expected number of clicks that this product needs in order to generate a sale based on the conversion rate of this product that is included in a campaign. So let me just explain this very quickly here. Also, I'll jump over to a few slides. Obviously, a 5% conversion rate means that every 20th click leads to a sale, 10% every 10th click leads to a sale, and 20% conversion rate means that every 5th click leads to a sale. That means that basically, and this is our suggestion, we suggest that sellers should wait at least 1 times the expected number of clicks before making any changes to their campaign. And so the way to calculate this is basically, so the expected number of clicks is 100 divided by the conversion rate. So what sellers do here, let me just jump forth a few slides, is basically in Sellics they can choose whether they want to wait 1 time the expected number of clicks, which would be 1x, 1.5 times the expected number of clicks, or 2 times the expected number of clicks, right? And obviously the longer the wait, so the higher the multiple, the more they will spend, but also the more precise the decision will be, basically. But so what we do here with the rules is if sellers choose 1x here, right, or 1.5x or 2x, is we will automatically calculate the expected number of clicks in order to generate a sale based on the conversion rate of an ad group or of a campaign. If it's a new ad group or a new campaign, we just take the account average, and if it's an entirely new account, we just take an average across all of our users. So that's basically what we do in order to calculate the expected number of clicks, right? So to calculate the time frame, how long sellers should wait before they make a change. So I think that this is definitely one of the most interesting questions, right? So if you guys have any data about any suggestions on how long sellers should wait before making any changes to their campaign, I think that this would be super, super interesting. Yeah, same goes for the target ACOS. So if you have any references, what's an average ACOS that you see across sellers, and finally also obviously by how much should your bid be changed, right? So we suggest on average to use a 30% change, but we're also working on calculating this dynamically based on your conversion rate and your target ACOS. So we have various ideas here, but obviously if you have some insights here, again, this would be very, very helpful. So those 2 rules basically make sure that the ACOS always converges against your target ACOS, because whenever you're above your target ACOS, we lower the bid. If you're below your target ACOS, we increase the bid. And so the third rule and the final rule that we have in our best practices is this rule to pause keywords if it generates clicks but no sales. And this is probably the most common strategy. Just says if orders are equal to 0 after at least, so in this case we say 1.5 times the expected number of clicks, then you should pause the keyword. And so this is obviously the idea here being that you want to stop those search terms and keyword that are not performing but constantly getting clicks. Again here, obviously the interesting question is how long should you wait? Is the way that we calculate the number of clicks the right way? Would you say that it should just be done after 7 days or 14 days? So what's your suggestion here? So basically, in order to give you an idea, you can create very, very flexible rules here using Sellics. So if you add a new rule here, then those are very flexible rules. So you can choose the condition can be based on anything from ACOS to ad spend to revenue to impressions to clicks to orders, right? So you could create a rule that says if impressions are below, let's say 200 after, and then you can choose the condition as well. So you can choose an ad spend, a revenue, impressions, clicks, orders, or days, right? So you could say if you have less than 200 impressions after 7 days, then you want to increase the keyword bid by 20%. So this is also a rule that we suggest from time to time. Obviously, it's a bit of an aggressive rule because it leads to a situation where you're increasing bids for long tail keywords. But this is also something that we see some sellers are doing. So in general, I'd say those are very flexible rules. Those are the 3 rules that we suggest and that we create in our best practice rule set. And so we'd be very interested in understanding if you'd say that those are good rules, and if you'd say that the setting of those rules are good, right? Specifically this part here, so how long you should wait, but also this part here, by how much should the bid be adjusted. And then I think another question would be if you are suggesting to create additional rules or maybe entirely different rules. So that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm looking forward to our joint webinar.